Yeah, you can come up here. I'll talk to you. I don't bite. I don't bite. You can come up here. You got me excited for Christmas. I'm excited for our Christmas too, twin. I'm excited for our Christmas too. You got to start looking for our you got to start looking for our pajamas, our jammies. Hello,
Hi.
hi, Kaylani. How you doing?
Hi. I just felt like typing it makes it sound like I'm being abysmal, and I'm truly not that.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's hard to interpret everything through text.
it is, and I'm truly not placing career over relationship. Like that is not what I'm saying.
Have you not already done
But
that?
say it again.
Have you not already done that at 40 years old?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have tried so many, like, if you knew my life story and being like a hopeless romantic, that's what I'm saying. There's so many things that are just nuanced. And times I put myself out there, the variety of types that I've tried, I don't limit myself, right? I like you, kind of like wherever you are in life, I'll try it. But it just hasn't clicked. And that's just the simplicity of it. It just hasn't worked. And so the reason why I said you got to catch me in the summer is a sense of I'm less stressed in the summer and I'm more open in the summer. I have more time in the summer and I have time in the fall, but like somebody's like, oh, let's meet up at 8 p.m. at night. I'm like, I got to grade these papers and I have to wake up at 5:40 a.m. So going out at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. because you work, say, 10 to 6 or something like that, right? Or 9 to 5. I've been at work, literally physically at work since 7:30. So if yeah, I get home dumb early if I really rush it, right? I'm not home 4:30. But then you want to meet up at 8. By the time 8 comes around, I'm grading papers, right? Because like 2/3 of teaching is done by yourself, right? There's teaching, there's grading, and there's planning. So my evenings are used for grading and planning. So you sit on the couch, I can like parlay with you and have a conversation with you while I'm doing whatever. Run, cook, run, laundry, run, da 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 da. Da. But like that means that at some point I'm still on my laptop. And so as far as kids, right? I was in a situation like 10 years ago that I thought was the thing. It didn't work out. So did I get like jaded? Like, yeah, but no, I never gave up hope on men. I'm not some man hater, crazy person, like out here, like blah, 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 like, love is bad or anything crazy like that. But it's just that I am a professional and I'm not prioritizing. I go out and I meet. You saw my age range was 33 to 62. Like, come on, fam. 30, 33 to 62. Like, I'm trying. But
How long were you with the person that you said you thought that it possibly could have been something or whatever?
it was about a year. It was about a year. But like, so I don't lend myself to people that I don't see myself with, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not going to spend my time and waste time on somebody that like I honestly didn't see positive signs and positive things about them. And things do emerge later on, right? As you go deeper with that person. And I don't like, there's no regrets in the fact that it ended. Like, I'm not pining over a situation or anything crazy like that, but it just didn't work. So
Do you believe in compromise in relationships?
absolutely.
Okay, just hear what I'm about to say and then you can respond to me. Because listen, I don't know you. Like, and I'm just gonna believe you. I'm gonna believe that at your age now, that have you always, okay, be 100% honest. Have you always believed in compromise in relationships? When
Absolutely.
you were in your early mid 20s, did you still believe in compromise? Or did you want the 100% man? Did you want the exact man? Like, did you want a man to be exactly how you envisioned him to be in your head?
I understand that everybody is a person that needs to be worked with, and to not to rely on the teacher aspect, but like as far as like helping people that can't do for themselves, my desire is to work with a person that's willing to adjust, because I understand that nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect for you. There's going to be character flaws. I grew up in a household where, I saw issues with my parents, but I understood that the bottom line was maintenance of a family. So even like in looking at my sister and her marriage, right? Sometimes he talks to her crazy, and I see my sister bite her tongue a lot. And I don't say anything, I just sit on the outside, like I see the compromises that they both make, right? So even though he talked a little crazy, he is the breadwinner. Like he is supporting and running the household. Not that my sister doesn't make sacrifices, but I see those roles. In the same sense, I saw my parents play those roles. Like I saw my mother get epilepsy, and my dad never let my mother. I never see my mother pick up a single shovel and shovel any snow in New Jersey ever in my life. I never see my mother take out any garbage. I've also never seen my dad do any laundry, and never seen my dad cook. So what I'm saying is just like I believe in roles and sacrifice, right? And those things that happen because that's how I was raised. So I was raised to believe in a two-parent household. I was raised to believe in, like people, that compromise. I just was. And if given the opportunity, like those are the things that I naturally fall into. Um, so I'm not, I don't blame anybody. So notice like in my language, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming myself. There are pitfalls um, and short ends of the stick that everybody kind of has to accept to understand the greater good, right? We're all mostly great for each other. We're not 100% great for each other. Like I'm not ignorant in that aspect. I just feel like we're all not going to get married, like on a numeric basis. That just quite frankly aren't enough black men for black women, and also just maybe it's not in my cards. And I feel like the age, like being 40, to be realistic, just means like now, right? I did want to have kids, and I did want to like have a house with somebody. I did want that. But all I can do right now, right? Because you can't control somebody else's emotions towards you, is just make sure that at 40, because I've been in the classroom 18 years. Like I could theoretically retire at 47. And that's the other part of this, right? Like I'm coming down the pike. But certainly I'm not going to retire, whatnot. But just saying that I just want to make sure that my focus right now is making as much money as possible, given where I fall in my New Jersey pension, the last 5 years of my career being average, to look at what my pension payment's going to be. Like that is important, but I'm not prioritizing a career over a person. And I work within a person's time period. Like I did that. Like I'm all about, my love languages are quality time, um, physical touch, and I forget the third one off the top of my head. Acts of service. And I that's what I do. So I think the other two are like, was it words of affirmation? I'm not always going to tell you how I feel about you, and gifts. I'm not always going to gift you stuff. So like, but as far as service, the service to me is the gift. So if I'm like, oh snap, like you need, like I'll call you up real quick, like yo, you need some t-shirts. You said you needed drawers. You said you needed it. Like, all right, what's that? All right, bet. Like that's like I know where I am, I know how I operate, and so and I'm upfront with that. Like I lead with it. I don't mislead individuals, but I just don't think that like it's in my cards. And that's not being negative. It's just like, yo, some people just don't find partners. And that's okay. I just gotta make sure I'm not eating cat food and living in poverty.
Everyone is not going to get married, and everyone is not going to find whatever lifelong partner. But even with that being said, that doesn't mean that that person that is not going to get married, or that person that is not going to have a lifelong partner, that doesn't mean that they also don't have a part to play in why that might ultimately be their circumstances. Like today, like where people are in life today is a reflection of what they did yesterday. Like where people are going, like what people's circumstances are going to be in the future is going to be a reflection of what they do today. And I asked you if you believe in compromise in relationships, because you said the whole, I don't believe in lending myself to people that, whatever you said. And nowadays, a lot of women like to, especially black women, a lot of black women like to treat men like build a bear, but they like to treat men like build a nigga. Like, we're human beings at the end of the day. Like we're not robots. So like whatever man that a woman has envisioned in her head, like there's no such thing as a man or woman getting 100% of the person that they envision in their head. So you're not going to get a man that's going to be as tall as you want him to be. have the hair texture and hair color that you want him to have. He's not gonna have the lips that you want him to have. He's not gonna work the job and make the amount of money that you want him to make. He's not gonna drive the exact car that you want him to drive. He's not gonna have the exact living situation that you want him to have. Like, we're not robots at the end of the day. We're human beings, and vice versa. So I say that to say, like, you know, you got some shit about yourself too. Like, whether you know it or not, and whether a man has told you or they haven't told you before, you got some shit about yourself that a man that's gonna ultimately decide not even to be with you for a lifetime, but just to even be in a relationship with you, they're gonna have to like deal with the shit that comes along with you as well. So when you talk about I don't lend myself to like everybody lends themselves to something. Like, you gonna put up with something. It don't matter how accomplished, how successful you are, how much money you make. Like, your people are gonna have something to like deal with. And like, respectfully, you do sound like a career woman. You sound like a woman that had to, like, again, like I said, you sound like a woman that has prioritized your career up to this point, and now you've had your epiphany moment. I even just asked you, like, you over here talking about right now is not even a good time for me to
Yeah,
be doing X. And
but
I
that's
but
quite.
one second. I understand that, but at the end of the day, people in life, they do make time for the things that they want. All of us make time for the things that we want. And anyone, if you have a busy schedule, anyone that you're dealing with that understands and respects the fact that you have a busy schedule, they're going to respect your schedule, and y'all going to coordinate with each other. Y'all going to like make it work as best as you can for the time being. But for you to totally, if I was to try to pursue you, if I saw you tomorrow somewhere, and I was to like try to get and I was to like, attempt to get your contacts or whatever, and you was to say something like, "Oh, I would talk to you, but I'm really busy with work right now and this, that, and the third." You're giving career woman. And I'm telling you this, as a man. You're not a man, so you can't really understand like what a man's perspective would be from what you're saying. But I can guarantee you that 9 out of 10 men, just from what you said, just from what since we've been talking, you sound like a career woman. You talking about, oh, your pension and this, that, and the third, and you got this many years, so you're vested in buck. Like, bro, that has nothing to do with a man wanting to be in a relationship with you. Like, if a
But
man,
I'm saying that to you because like we're here. I don't say this to men in the street. That's not a conversation I would have with them.
so what would you, so again, if I saw you tomorrow and I wanted to pursue a relationship with you, but you just told me that now is not a, you told me personally that now is not a good time.
That
You
doesn't mean that
said
I
you
wouldn't
said tomorrow is
try.
to catch you in the summer. So if you go to Starbucks tomorrow morning and a man approach you, what are you going to tell him? Since you're not going to tell him what you just told me, what are you going to tell him?
I would just talk to him like a normal human being. The information that I'm divulging to you guys is just the practicality of the situation. I don't lead with that in meeting men because I wouldn't want a man to lead with his job in meeting me. I would want him to lead with his character and I lead with my character. So so to I think it's a little, misguided to compare what like I'm saying to y'all as what I would say to a man in real time. Like I understand they wouldn't be interested in that. And me just acknowledging that um, because of the failed dating career that I've had, that I tend to focus on my career. Like that's how I just try to focus my time because I don't have a man in my life to do it. When I've had men in my life and they become a part of that prioritizing and stuff does move, I never said that I was inflexible. I know that I am flexible. I've been flexible. But at this juncture, there's no one that I like. No one likes me. My phone doesn't ring. The man that calls me the most is my dad. And that just is where I am at the moment. But I'm not using any of my like other priorities as an excuse to not meet people, to not go out, to not explore, to not try. I'm just letting you know that in the several dates that I went on in the course of the summer, because it is less pressure, none of those panned out. So I'm entering the fall still alone. And yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that goes on in September as far as like testing and stuff like that. Like that's just fact. And because I don't have a man, I'm gonna focus on that. If I had a man, then I would adjust for it, but I don't. So I'm gonna focus on what I have. And like I don't understand how that's
I understand what you're saying,
wrong.
I'm not. You said now is not a good time for you to be dating. You said that the summer is a good time for you to be dating. So whether you're gonna tell a man what you've told me, or whether you're gonna tell them, you're going to say, according to you, it is not a good time for you to be entertaining anybody. So if a man saw you tomorrow, whether you told him what you told me, you're going to tell him something or do something to not even really entertain or get too serious with that person.
Not true. Not true. I swear to Bob, that's not true. And maybe there's something that I'm not conveying as well as I should.
So
I
so
just
when you told me that now is not a good time and that somebody needs to catch you in the summer, what does that mean then?
that happens to be a fact, but that doesn't mean that I'm inflexible. That there are just better times of the year, but it doesn't mean that any time of the year is impossible for me. There are just better times of the year than right now, but I will move things for a person. But considering that right now there is no person, my focus is on work. I'm still open. Thank you,
I
Marlene.
understand
Like
that.
I'm still open.
Okay.
It just happens to be a fact that summertime I'm out here. It's hot outside.
I
I'm
get
out
it. I
more
get
often.
it.
I
I get
stay
it.
out
I get
late.
it. I get it. So
But I sound
so
that bad? I sound that bad?
yeah, you do. So this one person that you said, I don't know, X amount of years ago that you thought it could have been something, you only dated that person for 1 year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only man that of all the men that you've dated or ever entertained, that you thought that it could have been anything serious?
Um, thought that it could be anything serious? No. Willing to be
Okay,
serious
but let me
with
be clear. Let's make sure we're on the same page. So when you said that this was a man that you thought it could have been something with, were you talking about marriage and a family? What exactly were you referencing when you said that?
definitely marriage and a family, like somebody that had principles and ideals that aligned with mine.
Okay, so have you dated? So has there been anyone else that you've been in a relationship with that you felt the same way about?
Since
No,
him,
I'm not talking about since then. I'm talking about in general. Over your 40 years of life, ever since you graduated high school, has there been anyone else that you thought the same way about?
yeah, when goals were different and you were at different points in life and you had different priorities, you had different people that fit you at that time. But as
Have
you grow and mature, the person that you would have dated at 21 and 20 and the person that you would have dated at 26 and 27, the person that you dated at 30, the person that you dated at 35, the person that you dated at 40, right? As you mature and what's that word that happens in biology? I'm sorry, my brain is farting. There's a word I want to use. But as you change over time, not adapt, evolve. That's the word I was looking for. As you evolve, you look for partners that have evolved similarly. And so as of right
have you
now, have not found a person that I like as much as they like me, right? Because you have to like each other at the same time. Like that's a thing. And so I have not found a person that likes me when I like I like them, that uh, wants me. And that's just,
have you been in a serious relationship with anyone for more than a year before?
of course, yes.
So I don't, even if it was just one other person or if it was multiple people, did you see yourself possibly ever getting married to any of these men?
Yes, at the times that I was with them, yes. I really, when I entered into something, I enter into something with serious intent. I hear that, you know, a lot of men sometimes complain about women going out on dates just to waste time, waste money. I just don't have that kind of attention span for me personally. That's not what I do. Like I will gladly sit on my couch and watch some Netflix, and like that's a thing. Like I don't mind being alone, but I don't prefer to be alone. I just understand like just a part of life. And I go out. No, I've never been engaged. That's a like question. I haven't been
That's the
engaged.
next thing I was going to ask you. So these other men, so you only mentioned one man off the top of your head that you were like, you thought this could really be something. And you said you only dated him for 1 year, or you were in a relationship with him for 1 year. How many other men were you in a relationship with for more than 1 year? And how and if it was more than one person, how long were
It
you in
was.
each of these relationships?
Um, a year and a half, 4.5 years,
You were with the man for
another
four
year
and a
and a
half
half.
years.
Yeah.
How old were you during this 4.5 year relationship?
That was about 20 to 25. That was my longest relationship, but I realized that wasn't going to work. The other ones were about a year to a year and a half each.
Okay, let me ask you a question, and I want you to answer honestly because, like, you know, I listen, I'm not trying to be mean to you, but I'm just gonna be like very real with you because I like to have, I don't really come on here to, like, you know, BS and play around, and a lot of women are not honest with each other. Do you think a man in your age demographic, um that is single, that is childless, and that is actually looking to start a family, do you think he's looking to start a family with a woman that's in her late 30s, early 40s? Just like
No,
honestly answer.
no, absolutely not.
Why
I totally realized that. No.
do you think that most of the men, most of the whatever you deem to be quality men, high character, accomplished, successful, established men, do you think most of these men are um do you think most of these men in your age demographic are single, or do you think most of them are married and probably have families?
I don't know that they're mostly married in the sense that statistically,
Right. Okay,
uh,
let's not say marriage then. Do you think most of them, like, have families, whether they're in a, like, you know, they've been in an exclusive relationship for a long time? Do you think a
mhm.
lot of them have children?
I mean, statistically, most of them do have children.
Right.
Um, and I don't know how many men have been married before the age of 40 within the African American community, but before 40, like by 40, most men will be fathers. And most men over their lifetime will be fathers. So like no, if I was like honestly, and this is going to sound crazy, and ladies don't knock me on this. As a 40-year-old woman, do I see 30-year-old woman and realize like I'm out of that league? Yes. I remember when my boobs used to sit up. I remember all of that. And I'm sure that he remembers when he didn't have erectile dysfunction, right? There are things that we all remember that we didn't have. Um, so that's another reason why it's a sobering thought to once again focus on a career and focus on work. Because, yeah, I'm not saying that my time is up and I'm timed out, but I do understand that it is going to be hard. Hence the age gap in where I look, right? Like if you like me, I'll try it at least once. If it doesn't work, okay. But like I'm not exactly sure where you're going with
Do you
how
have
you're assessing. I don't know where you're exactly going with like how you're assessing the realities that I've applied to myself.
do you want to have kids?
No, and not at this juncture, not at 40. No. So initially when I was younger, I did not date men with kids. Um, and now I I mean, I did date kids, like date men with kids before as well. I definitely around 29, there was one guy I dated. He honestly had 4 kids, and I did
Okay.
date him. He was very nice, very good
Okay.
guy.
The point
Um,
I get you. The point that I'm trying to make is so for the man that's in his mid 30s, I'll say mid 30s to early 40s, that like, he's taken all this time to really, get himself established and really solidify himself to be in a position to provision for a woman and a family. Being that you don't want to have kids, that you've completely like excluded yourself from all of those men, right?
yeah, no, I understand that.
Okay.
Which is why I said I date men with kids. Um, I said, Marlene, why don't I want kids? Honestly, I just was never that person. Pregnancy looks scary. I'm an aunt to 3 children. Uh, and I don't know, like pregnancy scares me. Like, if just being very honest. The level of immobility that I observe is crazy. I did have a miscarriage. Um, I can't even say I was upset by that. I just don't think that I'm a mother. And the only reason I mentioned like teaching
I
for,
get it.
huh?
I respectfully, I get it.
But I think that like I just think we all walk different paths. I don't think there's one way to necessarily do anything.
Right.
I think that I just need to be of sober mind and thought in what is realistic and what isn't realistic. And statistically, if I'm just in that unmarried demographic, then I'm just in that unmarried demographic. But that doesn't excuse, the fact that I need to be able to be in a position to assess, personal assets to not be a burden to other family members that I would need to rely on when that person wouldn't be a husband, right? And even if that person was a husband, right, still making those adjustments. But as far as like who my beneficiaries are and things like that, I don't think that's unwise. I don't think that's negative. I think that's just recognizing the truth. And what I don't like, right, is that people throw that in women's faces, right? Oh, you're never going to be married. You're never going to have kids. Like you're a leftover. I'm like, I don't think that makes me a leftover. It just wasn't in my cards. And the only thing that I can do, right, you can't control how other people feel about you.
I'm
Like
not
like you can't do that, right? I can always earn a degree. I can always make more money. I can always live someplace else, right? I can always move. I cannot control, right, if somebody loves me. So in recognizing that, all I can do is be the best person I can be. And I went back to, school this week as school opened up, and I'm not all over the place. I think that I just have to be honest with myself. Like I think what I'm saying is me being honest with myself. It's probably not going to work out.
I'm not calling you a leftover. I'm not saying that you're never going to get married. I'm not saying that you're never going to have kids. I'm not saying that you're never ever going to be in a relationship. What I am telling you again is that, there's a lot of women and men that like to say certain things and kind of like use it as a cop out. Is everyone going to be married? No. Is everyone going to have a lifelong partner? No. What I'm telling you is that at the end of the day, you as a human being, if that was to end up being your circumstance, and for the people that is their live reality, they do have some accountability in that. They do have a part to play in that. And what I am telling you as a man, and again, if there were 10 other men here listening to you talk, I can guarantee you that 9 out of 10 of them will say that you sound like a career woman. You sound like a woman still that's prioritizing your career over a relationship. And a lot of men your age is not even going to be like interested in even dating a woman like that for real. It's one thing if she's a woman like that's my age, and we're grinding, we're building our financial foundation, we trying to, get situated in life or whatever. But I'm just
But
telling you.
you're not telling me something that I don't know. Like, and
Okay,
that's
okay,
what
okay. But if you don't know it, if you know what I'm telling you, you would know it's not in your best interest to be talking to a man or in front of men. And if you know what I'm telling you, and you're someone that you truly do desire companionship, you're gonna make sure that you refrain from saying certain things.
I said that beforehand. I said I'm having this conversation because we're on the internet live. You guys don't know me. I don't know you. There are spaces, right, where being being completely honest, right? Because I do want to hear the feedback. I'm not arguing with anything that you're saying. I don't know how my very uh, open and honest truth is perceived. I but I'm intelligent enough to believe that based on what I see men say they want in various lives, that this conversation is like not something that people would like want to have or want to hear women talk about. And that the women that I've seen most successful in relationships are relationships that adhere to, a traditionalist standpoint. But I also recognize that I grew up in a household where my mom was the breadwinner. So my view is also like impacted from a variety of sources. But I'm not here asking anybody to be what I want. I don't think I have an unfair ask. I'm not asking or begging anybody to change who they are to be with me. If men don't like me, then they don't like me. Like,
What are some basic requirements that you have of a man at 40 years old, Kaylani?
but hold on, can I just address Marlene? Like, I don't have a need for control. Like I said, if you don't like me, you don't like me. Like that. That's it. I don't understand how that's control. If we get together and it doesn't flow, it doesn't flow. I'm not gonna ask like why it's going on. I'm not gonna beg. Like I move on, and I think that's fair. I do want feedback, but I just don't understand like where the controlling comes from. I wouldn't be brutally honest with potential suitors until I was comfortable enough with them. I'm not upset at all. I'm really trying to intellectually engage. I don't have the need for control over other people because that's unfair because I wouldn't want anybody to have control over me unless we were in a situation where that was necessary. I don't think you're against me at all. But you said my basic needs.
No, not your base. What are some basic requirements that you have of a man at 40 years old?
Basic requirements would be like a proven history of stability. Stability is really important to me. And once again,
Let's be very specific. Are you referring to money? What are you referring to when you say stability?
I'm not an amount of money, an ability to show that you have long-standing relationships with families, with friends, with employment. Um, I think it's a big ask to get involved with somebody, and flakiness is not something that I can tolerate, right? So I want to hear about like, once you enter that realm and you're comfortable expressing that information, how was your relationship with past exes, right? Were they amicable? Were there any crazy stories versus like, you just decided that that didn't work out for you? So I guess balance, seeing evidence of like balance and focus and consistency and whatever it is that you said you wanted to do would be important. Basic
Have
lines
you?
of
I'm sorry. Have you had consistency and balance
in
when it?
relationships, and like, I mean, I don't think that honestly, a long-term relationship, it's not a red flag, but a long-term relationship would almost make me question, why didn't you marry that person? Like I would
No,
almost
no,
want to
no.
understand.
I'm asking because you're talking about you want to see that that person has balance and whatever other word I just used that I can't remember. But if we're just being 100% honest, you haven't had that. So why do you have that as a
Rom-
requirement of a man?
Romantically, I have not had consistency, but
So
I
why do you want a man why do you want to see that a man has had consistency romantically when you have not had consistency romantically?
But I didn't actually say that. I was thinking of in multiple facets of their life that there's consistency. If a person was with somebody like for 10 years and they didn't marry them, that actually looks a little bit crazy to me. Because what would happen after 10 years? Like, did they cheat on you? Did they try to, you know,
Lonnie.
knock you out.
So okay, so I'm sorry. So one man that's 40 years old, let's say he discloses to you that he was in a relationship with a woman before for 10 years and they didn't even end up getting married. But on the other end, you're going to be telling him that you're 40 years old and you never even been engaged before. What if you it like let's we having a real conversation.
Yeah.
If we ask men and women, so one person has actually been in a 10-year relationship before, maybe they had a kid, maybe they were engaged at some point, it fell through. The other person hasn't even been, the other 40-year-old person hasn't even been engaged before. What's more telling? What's more to be questioned? Do you think? What?
I don't know because I don't have your perspective. So my sister is married. I'm just using a local example. Her husband was her first engagement when they were 35. All of my friends that are married, their first engagement was their husband. I don't I don't know I don't personally know anyone, excuse me, that was engaged multiple times. Um I just personally don't. Men and women. I don't know anybody that was engaged multiple times.
So what are continue with let's move. What are some other basic requirements that you have of a man at 40 years old?
I those are that's pretty much it. I just feel like there
So
should
you
be
don't want him.
evidence.
You don't want him to have his own place. You don't want him to have a car. Money doesn't
Of
matter to you.
course.
Let's be
I
real.
mean, but I didn't know that you wanted me to go into that. I
That's
thought
what
we,
I'm
we were
talking
talking
about.
about.
Yeah, let's get into it. We're here. That's what I'm asking you. What are some basic requirements that he needs to have before you even
Okay.
consider taking him remotely serious?
So if we're talking about tangibles, right, versus intangibles. Yeah, I think you should match me where I am. I have a place, I have a car, I have a job, I have good credit. Yeah, you should have that. I have a relationship with my parents. My mother's dead though. Like, yeah, um, you should have those things.
Okay. So you said you tried dating. You said you tried dating. Not dating, but you said you went on 5 dates. Um, this summer, and you instantly knew like after the first date that they just weren't, they just weren't him. They just weren't. It wasn't going to be a match.
I mean, they
Um.
also didn't call me back, so like that was the other clue.
Okay.
Like,
So
so
if I said that you also have not been attracting the caliber of men that you want, would it be safe to say that?
no, it would not be safe to say that. Um,
How would it not be safe to say that?
Caliber, I wouldn't. I don't think that a failure of connection is the absence of caliber in that person. You
Right.
can meet somebody that has all your asks, and you just don't like each other.
Right. But so you're saying that these all five of these men that you went on dates with, all five of them, to your knowledge, met these basic requirements and were of the caliber of man that you could see yourself being in a long-term relationship with.
Mm,
Just just be one.
personality,
Okay, Kaylani,
personality.
Kaylani, listen. Just be 100% honest, okay? Because I tell women, listen, women get on the internet all the time and talk about all the men that they wouldn't date and this, that, and the third. But and I'm not saying this about you because I don't know you, but in reality, a lot of women do not attract a lot of women say that they're not going to settle while also not attracting the caliber of man it is that they want. And not
Yeah, I
only do they
totally
not
agree with
attract,
that.
one second, not only do they not attract the caliber of man it is that they want, they've never attracted that man. And a lot of them are never even really going to attract that man. When they go outside, that man doesn't look their direction. They don't get any attention from these men. These men don't spit in their direction. That's just and a lot of women, and for a lot of the women that do get any sort of remote attention from the caliber of men that they desire, a lot of them really don't get taken serious by these men. A lot of these men really don't want anything serious specifically with them. So if that was the case with the five men that you went on a date with, that's fine. Just say that. You don't have to lie though.
But why would you presume that I'm lying?
I'm not presuming it, but you told
They
but
they they were men in conversation right before we went out on the first date. Seemed like they could have been good guys. We went out. It didn't work. I didn't call them again, or not that much. They didn't call me again that much. Okay, and then life went on. But like, I feel like somewhere in this conversation, and I'm gonna try to put a response together as best as I can in the moment, right? But why is there this presumption that one of them should have worked, as if anytime you're single, all of your relationships have been failures because you're not currently in a relationship? So that would be true for anybody that's around, right? Just if you were in a situation that's situated and it came to a close, it's situated and it came to a close. And that was what it was. And so I don't see why there's harm, right? I'm not saying that any man owes me anything. I'm not chasing anybody. I'm not faulting them. I'm not faulting myself. Is there responsibility on both sides? Absolutely. But it just didn't work out. They just weren't my person. And then you keep looking.
I'm not presuming that they were supposed to work out. What are you doing, if anything? Okay, this is gonna be very telling, and just be 100% honest. What are you doing, if anything, to try to get a man that you would desire right now? And what have you been doing all of this year, if anything?
So as I
Have you
said
have, have
previously, as I said previously in the comments, I took a 3-year hiatus and really just started trying to date again this summer and broadened the age range and said, okay, let's see. And some of them are grandpas, most of them were fathers. The other characteristics were broad. Um,
did you find all of these five
you look
men that
so
you
disgusted, and I just don't understand why.
did you find all five of these men that you went on dates with physically attractive?
One of them, largely no. Um, he was very nice,
I wasn't
and
asking if he was nice, man. I said, did you find them physically
I said
attractive?
I said one of them largely no. And when we spoke afterwards, I let him know that I just wasn't interested in moving forward, and that was a Dutch date, so no, I didn't waste his money. Um, there was one guy I felt like a job interview the whole time, but he was another Virgo, and I know that's how we do because I know myself because I'm a Virgo. Another man, I just felt like actually two of them were just too pushy. It was like kiss me, hug me, touch me, da 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 da. I was like, I don't like being pushed in that way
So
physically.
so 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 like a lot of women, they just wanted to fuck on you. They didn't want anything serious with you. So we can just knock them two off right away.
I
So
mean,
so
we can knock all of them off because they're not here.
but according to you, those two weren't going to be anything anyway because they just wanted to fuck on you.
Yeah, and so once that's discovered, then that's it.
Okay. Did you can really see yourself being in a you said that you're looking for a companion. um you could really see yourself being in a relationship with a man that's 60 years old?
So what I enjoyed about that experience.
Kaylani, please just answer my question and then you can
No, but
elaborate.
can I tell you what I liked about it? Can I see myself? Yes. Because here's what I enjoyed about it. Um, I enjoy people that have a level of wisdom and knowledge and passion in something. And when that comes in a package and we can have like really widespread conversations, that is a turn on. Like I love to be taught something and I love to be able to teach. And maybe it's a part of the reason, like as a history teacher, if I can ask you something, you got real lived experience because hey, you were at summer. I'm not saying that old because people at summer would be like 75, 80, so I'm bugging. All right, so I'm doing too much in that aspect. But there is something to be said for reasonable amounts of wisdom. I think what I also enjoyed about dating older men, because those were the two oldest men that I dated at 59 and 61. I don't know. There was just like there was a catering that kind of went on. It was just they had lived their lives. They were looking to just sit and talk and look and go places and enjoy things, and there was like no pressure for anything. Like, yeah, there's virtues to dating all kind of different people. And that's why I'm actually honestly perplexed at some of the comments and your reactions to me. And once again, I'm being honest with you because I don't think I have anything to lose in this. But I can show you better than I can tell you, and that's why I asked you, thank you, and that you graciously agreed to let me come up. In the sense of I'm always consciously thinking about the decisions that I make when I meet people. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste anybody else's time. I never want to, harm anybody, right? So like seek first to cause no harm to other individuals, but also keep a broad scope and not knock anybody out. So if you look at people that I've dated, they're all over the place, but also still be honest with myself about where I think things could or could not go with an individual. And now that I'm back, trying to do that, like it's just with an honest perspective. There are things that are serious red flags for me, and there are things about me that are serious red flags for other people, and I just understand that. And yes, I do understand at 40, I'm, like men my age are looking at women that are younger than me. Like I understand that, which is why I look up the hill and not down the hill, right? So if I'm making these concessions, not that there's anything wrong with men that are older than me, but like if I'm still being realistic, right? If I'm making realistic, rational decisions and I'm accepting that things don't work out and I'm not blaming anybody and I say like, yeah, there's things they're not going to like about me and there's things I'm not going to like about them, then what is the problem?
I didn't say anything about anything being a problem, Kaylani. I'm just having a conversation with you. And I'm trying to, okay. When I asked you about the 61-year-old and the 59-year-old, only thing you talked about was wisdom and then being able to impart knowledge on you in the conversation. Like, let's be realistic. For most people, physical attraction matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I said that most people are not just looking to get into a relationship with someone simply because they feel this person can impart knowledge on them, and that's about it, that's the highlight of them. Most men and women aren't looking to get into relationships with people simply because of that, right?
Which is why I tried to see
No,
if
just answer my question, then you can elaborate.
agreed. I like to be able to look at somebody.
Okay,
I like to be able to want them. But
okay.
once again, if as an older person, if we're talking about try something you haven't tried, right? Open your mind and things like that. Maybe something can become of it, right? If you try things from another angle. I tried something from another angle. The angle didn't work out.
So would you entertain going on a date or even entertain the idea of being in a relationship with someone that's 59 years of age and older when you're about to turn 40 years old? Would you entertain that idea anymore?
I would. My my father's parents were 15 years apart. So age gaps are not bad things, and that was actually my dad's stepfather, because my biological grandfather was an alcoholic. And whenever my father talks about his dad, he's not talking about his biological dad. He's talking about Pop George. And so within that age gap, it worked for them. So that's not something that I would shrug off as a possibility. But once again, it's still about like compatibility with anybody of any age. So I'm just saying that I'm not blocking anybody except for things that are egregious, right? So everybody's gonna have some limits. Like, no, I just can't. But if you're respectful and we have a vibe, and
John,
you're what?
you were just talking about young men having strong backs. You were just talking about
Bro, hold on. You're taking that totally out of context. That's just a recognition of the fact that spines are stronger at younger ages. That's just science. You can't fault me for science.
you
My
didn't let me finish.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir.
Wasn't faulting you about science. You were just talking about young men having stronger backs. You made a joke about men your age having ED and this, that, and the third.
No, I did not say that. No. That's not how I said that. I did mention ED, but I did not mention it in that context. I did not. Please,
What context did you mention it in?
I was joking and saying that we all have things that start to go awry as we age, that people would have to deal with. Like that's once again, that's science, right? As we age and dealing with things, whether it be like baggage or physical
Okay,
maladies, like things do change as you age. I just
okay,
picked that one random one in particular because it was specific to males, not mocking its existence or being insensitive to it. I have fibroids. Things happen. Like, yes.
okay. Do you want to be in a relationship in the next relationship if you get into another relationship? Do you want to be in a relationship with a man that you find to be physically attractive and that you actually want to have sex with?
Oh, I'm sorry. Say it one more time. I looked at a comment real quick. I apologize.
In your next relationship, do you want to be in a relationship with a man that you actually find physically attractive and that you would actually be okay having sex with and like having to look at them in the bed and kiss them?
Yes, that is the thing
Okay.
that I would desire. Yes.
Okay. So do you really think that there's a lot of men age 59 and up that you would really want to have sex with on a regular basis and that'll be able to keep up with your sex drive and this, that, and the third? Do you really think that?
Um, I don't know if there's a lot or not, but I don't like. Are you encouraging me to cast off that
I'm
demographic?
not
Like,
encouraging you to do anything. I'm asking you questions.
I don't know if there's a lot of men that would fit into that demographic or not. But I know that if I say that I want love and I want respect, then I would need to cast a wide net. So I don't see why that would be bad. And then if it recognized early on it doesn't work, then goodbye. And there's no time wasted. There's no harm, no foul. You just move on and see what else is around. And it's not like you were having sex. I was not having sex with any of these people because that went
Who said you
alongside
were
the.
having sex with any of
I'm
them?
not saying that you said it. I'm just stating it as a statement. Nothing about what I am saying is presumptive of anything that you are assuming or anything that you've said. I'm just offering it as additional anecdotal information to further color what I am articulating to you. That is it. I am not telling you what you said. I'm just highlighting that as I'm out and about, casting a broad net, not trying to hurt anybody or be hurt, truly explore what's out there, be open minded, see what happens. I don't expect anybody to like me. Nobody should expect me to like them. I don't have expectations of anybody. I would like to make a genuine connection to somebody that thinks that I'm worth something. And that is my goal. And that at the same time, I think they're worth something too, and that we are both worth it, like worth trying and making the sacrifices that it would take to be with that person. That's it.
So when you met these five men over the summer, were you by yourself or were you with someone or people when you met them?
So I actually kind of constitutionally go out by myself. One, because most of my friends are married with children. And then two, I have this thing about being able to come and go as I please. That's very important to me. And I know somebody's going to say something in the comments because I know somebody's going to say something. Um, that if it's time to go, it's time to go. And if I want to stay later, I want to stay later. So I'm going to drive myself and, or, Lyft or Uber myself, whatever. But, yeah, I do like to be able to remove myself and arrive when I want to arrive. And not be beholden to other people in that moment. So I am 99% of the time by myself. And I have, I'm sociable. Like I talk to people, I strike conversations up. I gotta tell you, I think I'm a joy to be around. I know it sounds a little crazy, in out of context, but
I
like,
never said you weren't a joy to.
I must, but Sam, I never said that you're saying any of this that I'm not. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it. I'm not saying what you did or did not say. I am just saying it.
So you get cute and go out by yourself for the most part.
Yes, I get
Okay.
cute and I go out by myself.
Okay. So is this the only social media that you have?
So I don't like Instagram because Instagram seems picture heavy, and even if you looked at my page on TikTok, you see I only have one picture up. If you looked at my Facebook, I think I have like seven. I'm my grandmother's grandchild, and my grandmother didn't like pictures, and I kind of also don't like pictures. So, as far as like just showing myself doing things, I'm more of a quiet mover. Like I'm out and about, or I'm not out and about. Yeah. So no, this is not the only form of social media that I have. I do engage in other places and spaces.
Okay. Which one of your social media platforms are you like do you have the most men as friends on?
Definitely Facebook, only because several years ago I used to be a party promoter, and so actually my at the most the people that I had, like I never got to like the follower status. I don't know what follower status necessarily is, but I had like 4,500 friends, quote unquote friends on one page, and right now I'm at about 2,400 because I was still like party promoting when I opened this page up. But no, those are not like men that I interact with like on a regular basis, unless they were just people that I actually knew in like real life, real life.
So on all of your social media platforms, you're not really interacting, or you don't have any men trying to interact with you on any of your social media platforms?
Actually, no, no. I'm not on any dating sites right now. I was contemplating joining a dating site, uh, but I would really rather meet somebody in person for best results because you see exactly what you're gonna get. I don't want anybody to ever say like, "Oh, you don't look like this. This was hitting this, or you had this picture, this filter." Like, no. Like, as a matter of fact, I almost make it a point to take like very basic pictures, and so I know I just think I look better in person. Um, because I'm smiling in person. If you were to look at like my pictures, like even like this picture right now, I have a smirk on. I was in Jamaica last summer, and that was the picture that I took, and that's a picture I've maintained since then. And I was having a good time, but I think it's also just like simple to the point. You see it, and so I think that I'm big on like people explaining themselves as they get to know each other and working with them that way.
So so is Facebook what you use the most?
Facebook is what I use the most because you can write the most. You can enter the most character in the posts.
So how often, like, how active are you on Facebook?
Most of my participation on Facebook is via like groups. So I'm in travel groups, education groups, and just like random nonsense groups. And that's about it. I don't utilize it. I'm in a Black business group. Um, so I was really interested in like maybe looking in like more into tutoring, like private tutoring, things like that, or other educational opportunities that might pop up. Um, but no, I'm pretty active like on those websites, but not in pursuing anything like outside of just being social.
So you don't have any men like on Facebook. You don't have any men like because you seem to be somewhat active on there. You don't have any men like hitting you up at all.
No, I don't. I post some like if I'm talking about like my posts are pretty mundane. They're like teacher posts, interactions with my niece and my nephew, and then like political articles.
Do you post photos on there?
I do. I have photos on there.
So you post photos on there and men still don't hit you up?
So I'm goofy, and so like a lot of my photos are me kind of making faces or whatever, or just like I don't know. I'm just I don't know what to say. Like I'm whatever sexy is, I recognize I'm not. Like I don't know how to communicate that. There was a meme like how a Virgo flirts with you, they stare or they like look at you. Like that is what it is. Like or like how does a Virgo flirt? They're quiet and they're not judgmental because people always say like Virgos are judgmental and always like trying to measure somebody. So like sometimes men will talk to me and they're like, "Oh, you're not saying anything." It's like, "No, I'm sincerely listening." And like in me sincerely listening, like that is me like I don't like to use the word all the time, like submitting. I'm submitting to whatever it is that you're saying to me in the moment and letting you have the floor. And that is me flirting with you. Because if I didn't like what you were saying to me, like I would be vocal about it, but I'm not. I'm listening to what you're saying, which is why I was saying like I appreciate wisdom and stuff like that because like it's intriguing. Like teach me something that I don't know, and I just think that's cool. And I also think for me it's endearing. Like I can't speak for other people. For me, it's endearing.
Damn.
You really think this is a question. I'm not saying that you said it. You're about to say, I didn't say that you said that. You think I'm like a F up?
No, I said damn because I don't even really know what to. I mean, if you really don't have, if you're active on Facebook and you really don't have like any men contacting you, trying to take you out for coffee, trying to take you to dinner, trying to go do activities with you, I don't even know what to tell you, Kaylani. I honestly don't.
No, but I don't think that I'm here looking for answers per se.
No,
I can only, once again, and I mean, think about it, right? Because you said before, like, be honest, be honest, be honest. I'm, think about everything that I've said to you. I'm not hyping anything up. I could be here like, oh, my DMs are popping.
right,
Oh, I'm
right.
out here once a week. Like, I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying I go out by myself. I really like my job, and I post about political stuff. And I firmly recognize that I'm not sexy. To be honest, I'm a little funny looking, and like that is what it is. And that's not even being negative. I'm very self-aware. I'm very self-aware, and I um I don't know. Like I just live in self-awareness, and I live in preparedness in real life. And so if marriage and a partnership is not in my cards, then my focus needs to be elsewhere until I meet somebody where my focus is not there. And yes, you can do both at the same time, but there's just no one to worry about as of right now.